Hey everyone, today I'm going to be prepping some food for the week, so I figured I would film it to share with you guys. I've been meaning to get into meal prep for the longest time. I feel like at one point I was okay at doing it, and more recently I've just not done it at all. But especially during the working week, I just find I don't have the energy to do a whole lot of cooking, especially if I want like proper healthy food options. Normally I can't really be bothered, and now that it's getting hotter outside, I find I want to cook even less. So I figured it would probably be a good idea on a Sunday to cook a bunch of food, keep it in the fridge, and then during the week I can just reach for it. I don't need to think about what I'm having for dinner. I've just got everything prepped and sorted. That being said, it is Sunday, it's currently very warm, so if you see me getting progressively more and more shiny, that is why. It is very warm today, but I'm excited to get all this stuff prepped and ready, and then later in the week enjoy it, hopefully, if it all tastes good. I'm going for really basic things. Essentially I'm on a little bit of like a salad hype at the moment, but not like boring salad, so I want to prep some different salad options. Gonna make some roasted veggies, gonna make some quinoa, gonna make some hummus, some coleslaw, and also some boiled potatoes for like a potato salad at some point during the week. Also gonna make some homemade vegan mayonnaise to mix with all the bits and bobs. I think for the most part I'm just going to keep everything very separate for now so that it keeps better, and then when I plate my food I'll mix like the potatoes with the mayonnaise to make potato salad, the coleslaw with the mayonnaise, etc. So just going to go with the general prep to start with. I think I'm going to start by getting some water boiling for the quinoa and switching the oven on for the roasted veg, which means it's about to get even hotter, which I'm not too excited about. For the quinoa I'm just going to be following the instructions on the back of this packet. I think I'm going to make double whatever this says. So this says 400 milliliters of water for 100 grams of quinoa. So I think I'm going to do 200 grams of quinoa and 800 mils of water, just so that there's definitely enough for the whole week. And then in terms of the roasted veggies, I've just got a whole bunch of veggies that I'm going to chop up, throw in a pan and roast until they're all soft, probably with a little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper and some basil. I've also got some carrots and white cabbage and a red onion for the coleslaw. I would normally use red cabbage, but Asda didn't have any, so we're going with white cabbage. I feel like it's basically the same anyway. And then I'll also show you guys the hummus when I make that as well. Just gonna wing it, I think. I don't think I'm gonna follow a recipe, so we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, I'm gonna start with the cooking. I have got the quinoa simmering away. I literally just followed the instructions on the back of the packet to cook this. So I used 800 mils of water. I also dissolved a vegetable stock cube in that water just to give it a little bit of flavour. And then 200 grams of quinoa simmering for 20 minutes, and then after that I'll turn off the heat and just leave it for 5 minutes so that the rest of the water is fully absorbed. I've also prepped all of the veg ready to go in the oven. Literally so much roasted veg. I think in the end I used about half a packet of tomatoes, a handful of mushrooms, 2 courgettes, 1 red pepper, 1 green pepper and half an orange pepper, 2 sweet potatoes, a red onion. I think that's everything. Essentially anything you can see here, and then I've just drizzled it with olive oil, a little bit of salt and also some dried basil, and I'm just going to shove that in the oven until it's cooked. Honestly, have no idea how long it takes. I probably could Google, but most of the time I just wing it and I see how long it takes. So I think it's going to be the sweet potato that take the longest, so I'll just keep checking it, probably give it like a little bit of a mix so that everything gets evenly cooked. And then that is ready to go. I have just got out the food processor to start grating the carrots and cabbage for the coleslaw. This is actually my mum's. She didn't have room for it in her flat, so I'm currently looking after it at mine. And up until today, I've not used it at all. I've not made the most of having this in my flat. But I went to go start grating the carrots, and then I remembered that I had this, and it's got like a grating attachment. So I'm using this instead. I'm giving it a go because I feel like it's going to be a huge time saver. If you guys don't have a food processor with the grating attachment, you can just grate the carrots by hand, and normally I'll just slice the cabbage really thinly. But this is a bit of a godsend, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm not looking forward to doing like the whole cleaning out process later, but right now I'm very grateful I don't have to hand grate any carrots. There are a couple of bigger chunks left in there, but I feel like overall that didn't do a bad job. I am also going to add some red onion, but I think I might just finely slice that. I don't know how it's going to go through the food processor, and I don't really want to risk it just turning to like pulp, so I'm going to leave it at this. I'm going to thinly slice some red onions, mix that in, and then that is ready to go in the fridge. I have made literally so much coleslaw. Like, this Tupperware is huge, so that's definitely going to last me the week, which is good. I'm now about to make some vegan mayonnaise that I can mix with the coleslaw to make like coleslaw, I guess. I'm not going to bother mixing it now because I feel like it might go a little bit funky in the fridge, so I'm just going to keep them separate and then I'll mix them when I eat them. This vegan mayonnaise recipe I have definitely shown on my channel before. It is literally the easiest mayonnaise you will ever see ever. Way easier than normal mayonnaise where you have to like emulsify the egg yolk or whatever it is. It's also so much cheaper than any shop bought vegan mayonnaise you can buy. It's literally just soy milk, vegetable oil, a little bit of vinegar, so I've got some cider vinegar, salt, anything else you want to season it with, and that is it. And it's literally as simple as shoving it all in like the little blender cup, putting the blender stick in there and blending it for a few minutes. Well, not even a few minutes, I think probably like 30 seconds until it thickens up, and you have mayonnaise. It really is like the quickest thing ever. So I'm going to whip some mayonnaise up now, and then I think the only things I'll have left to do will be to boil some potatoes and make the hummus. That literally took maybe like a minute to make. It is literally just half a cup of oil, a quarter cup of soy milk, a tablespoon of vinegar, but I tend to do a little bit more, and then just salt to taste. I am now going to transfer this into a little jar, and I think it keeps for about 5 days or so. But I feel like generally I get through it a lot quicker because I am a big mayonnaise fan. I've decided against boiling the potatoes for now, so I think I'm just going to cook them later in the week when I fancy them, which means the last thing I have to make today is the hummus. I'm using the dirty container from the mayonnaise because really it's just a little bit of oil left in there, and I'm about to add oil into this anyway, so I don't think it's going to make a huge amount of difference. But so far I've just got 1.5 cans of chickpeas in here. I had one of those like really tiny cans I figured I might as well use up as well, so that is why there's like an awkward amount of chickpeas in here. I've got some olive oil, salt, garlic, lemon and tahini to add, and I'm just going to wing it. Like I said earlier, I don't really have a recipe that I'm going to follow for this, so I'm just going to see how it turns out. Hopefully at the end I'll be able to share with you guys roughly how much of everything I put in. But I feel like with making hummus anyway, it's pretty much a personal preference. Some people like more garlic, some people like more lemon, some people like more oil, etc. So we're just going to go with it and see how it turns out. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, I don't actually have any idea what I ended up putting in the hummus in terms of like proportions of everything. I also think I probably should have blended it in the food processor, not the blender, because it was a lot of effort. It required a lot of manpower, but I got there in the end. It is mostly smooth, it tastes good, so that is the main thing, and it does mean that now everything is prepped and ready to go. I feel like it doesn't even look like that much, like it's not that many different meals, but this is definitely going to help me out this week in terms of dinners. The roasted veg cooked down to nothing. Like, this is both of the containers mixed together, and it does not look like a lot. It's probably like half the amount that I put into the oven, so definitely bear that in mind. I should have thought about it when I was cooking them, but that's still going to be plenty this week. I've also got the quinoa. I think I left the lid on for a little bit too long with the quinoa and overcooked it slightly. But again, it's not the end of the world, it still tastes fine. I am kind of tempted just to mix the roasted veg into it now because I think that's what I'm going to do anyway. So potentially when I put it into the fridge, I'm just going to mix these two together to save space. Then we've obviously got the slaw and the mayonnaise to mix in with it. And then finally the hummus. So, I mean, I'm happy with myself. I have no regrets that I've done this. I do feel very warm, but it didn't really take that long because I guess didn't really make a whole bunch. But I know later this week when I can't be bothered to make anything for dinner, I'm going to be very grateful for my past self for putting together at least something to contribute towards a meal. I think most nights I'm going to be having like the roasted veg quinoa with some coleslaw and then some sort of like vegan meat. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with everything I've made. It is now actually a few days later and I realised I completely forgot to like do an outro to this video. I've been making my way through the food that I prepped earlier this week, and I mean, I can say I'm pretty happy with it. I've saved so much time this week. I've just not really had to think about food for the most part, which has been really nice. The coleslaw I should have made double of because I've gone through that so quickly. I think I'm having like the equivalent of a quarter of a cabbage with every meal, but I'm not complaining, it tastes really good. So I'm gonna end this video here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.